Now on CoastTV News.
Crop crisis. Soybean exports to China dropped to zero amid Trump tariffs. Delaware farmers feeling the pinch.
Farmland to homes. How many homes this development could add to an already busy area.
Sunfest in Ocean City begins. What things you can enjoy free of charge.
Now, this is the day we expect to have the first frost of fall. Will that come into fruition? We'll find out.
This is CoastTV News at 5.
Fields for growing soybeans in Sussex County. Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. We begin tonight with an international tariff war hitting home for farmers on Delmarva.
Soybean harvesting season is now underway in Delaware, but the biggest buyer of the crop, China, has stopped buying them from the U.S. altogether. Coast TV News reporter Emma Aiken is live in Sussex County, and Emma, farmers say they're feeling the loss.
Maddie, farmland like this makes up almost half of the land here in Delaware, and soybeans like the ones you see here are one of the most popular crops in the state. But where these soybeans will go once they're harvested looks a little bit different this year. Sussex County farmers working away on a combine used to harvest soybeans. But the biggest buyer of soybeans, China, is no longer buying since President Trump put tariffs in place. That means the usual U.S. shipment of nearly 25 million metric tons of soybeans to China is not happening right now, according to the American Soybean Association. For farmer Derek Wells, luckily a lot of his beans are used locally one way or another, but Wells says the loss of China's imports still makes a big impact.
We've been in business for quite a while, and that's pretty much all you can do is ride the highs and, suffer through the lows is basically all you do to get through one year to the next.
With the tariffs, soybean prices are now lower than they've been in a year or more.
The tariffs make a big difference in the grain prices to a degree, but the tariffs also make a difference in everything we buy. We buy tires, we buy metal, we buy steel, we buy machinery. That it affects all that.
For farmers here, the harvest goes on as trade tensions linger. Wells says in the past, in some cases, they would send soybeans overseas so other countries could crush them and use the oil, and then they would actually send the meal part of the soybean back for various uses here in the U.S., but that's not happening right now either due to these tariffs. Reporting live here in Sussex County, Emma Aiken, Coast TV News.
Last year around this time, farmers were dealing with a different struggle. More than a month-long drought on Delmarva. It was quite severe and led to a significant drop in crop yields. Soybeans suffered during that time from a lack of summer rain and coastal storms.
The proposed Goldsboro Farm subdivision would place 307 single-family homes on 257 acres on Mulberry Knoll Road off Route 24. Clustered together with 174 acres set aside as open space and about 80 acres of forest remaining. You see the drawing of the development on your screen now. Plans filed with the state show around 55 acres of trees would be cleared, and the traffic studies estimate up to 3,000 vehicle trips a day once homes are built. While the project doesn't need a zoning change, it adds to the growing list of developments near Route 24, including the proposed Costco and Belmead projects just up the road, which some people say is a big factor in the new development.
Then you compound it with the issues of Belmead. So at some point, there needs to be a pause.
The plan for development will be reviewed and discussed at the state's preliminary land use service meeting next Wednesday.
In the 150th year of Ocean City, the town is celebrating 50 years of Sunfest this weekend, where you can enjoy music, food, and some unique vendors. Coast TV News reporter Kevin Zappe is live in Ocean City. And Kevin, people there say it's a great place to go shopping before the holidays.
Maddie, we spoke to a ton of people here at Sunfest today who told Coast TV that there is a bunch of one-of-a-kind items that you can find here at Sunfest. And just for example, if you're walking into the front entrance, you'll see these holiday door hangers. And these are just a few of my favorite. We got Frankenstein for Halloween, the Grinch for Christmas, and even Uncle Sam for 4th of July. But there are more than just vendors here at Sunfest. There's also live music to enjoy, hay rides on the sand, and delicious foods and mixed drinks throughout the festival. And for vendors Joe and Rosemary Brewer, their work is more than just sales. They specialize in hand-painted pet portraits. And although they rarely include people in their art, one customer's request for a portrait with him and his dog was too meaningful to turn down.
He gets real serious and he pulls out that picture of him and his dog, and he goes, if you could do this, it would mean a lot to me, because this dog that he had was a puppy, only lived a year and a half, got a disease and died. So I ended up caving in and doing it. Very emotional.
Sunfest is free to enter and runs through Sunday. I'm Kevin Zappé, live in Ocean City, Coast TV News.
Happening today in Ocean City, new rules for bikes and scooters are getting reviewed by the Board of Zoning Appeals. The board will hear a first reading of an ordinance that bans most bikes and scooters from sidewalks. This comes as new state rules are now in effect that allow this. Earlier this week, the Ocean City Council decided to advance this draft ordinance. The Board of Zoning Appeals meets tonight at 6. Taking a live look into Ocean City, just a picture-perfect day out there. You can see, though not a lot of people do enjoy the beach. Let's check in with our chief meteorologist, Paul Williams. Paul?
Well, one thing about what's happening in Ocean City Sunfest, just reflecting back on it, for Friday, we're looking for a high of 61, 60 on Saturday, and 58 on Sunday. But our big story is going to be how frosty we're going to feel overnight. Now, today we had a low of 42 in Georgetown, but 38 in Salisbury, and our forecasted lows near the 40-degree mark, but that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to miss this wonderful day that we typically would deal with some frost throughout the entire Delmarva Peninsula. Temperatures are going to be in the lower 40s pretty easily with mostly clear skies. Now, we do have some frost advisories in the area, generally speaking, over in portions of southern New Jersey over towards Maryland, and we actually have some freeze concerns just to our west, but not in our immediate area are we concerned about it, but this is how tedious it can be. You see, when we actually are dealing with possibility of frost, you could have 36 degrees because this is taking, 5 feet above the ground, but down along the ground, the cold air sinks and the ground temperature can go down to 32. And that's where all that frost begins to go into play with those molecules in the air crystallizing. Will that happen tonight? That's the big question.
Thank you, Paul. Now we're here checking in on our Coast TV poll. We want to know, what is your biggest frost worry?
Let's take a look at the results. 75% say high bills because it's colder, you use your heat. 23% though say plant damage. 0% are worried about frozen pipes. 2% are worried about the driving risk, or I'd say even driving annoyance. You gotta sit there and ice it.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you haven't voted on this yet, you can. We expect the numbers to change throughout the day. Go to coasttv.com or use the mobile app, and feel free, leave us a comment.
Dramatic escalation in the U.S. attacks on drug cartels, with the defense secretary announcing more airstrikes against alleged traffickers at sea.
With dozens now killed, President Trump says new strikes could be coming on land.
ICE raids are happening in major cities nationwide, and NBC's Yamiche Alcindor has more on federal agents making arrests from coast to coast.
Federal agents in face coverings clashing with a group of people in Chicago's Little Village neighborhood as the Trump administration intensifies its immigration crackdowns in several largely Democrat-run cities. The raids, like this one in New York Wednesday, drawing protests. Trump officials not backing down.
ICE is doing their job, and they're not going to stop doing their job.
I don't like the optics.
But Maria Salazar, a Republican House member representing South Florida, wishes the raids would focus more on migrants with criminal records.
Not on the good hombres who are cleaning up the bathrooms or picking up the jalapeno peppers.
President Trump defending the crackdowns, saying they're keeping Americans safe, offering a similar defense after the federal government conducted another deadly airstrike on a boat, this time in the East Pacific.
This is a national security problem.
The president claiming the boat was trafficking drugs. It was the 9th strike against a vessel allegedly smuggling drugs since early September. Dozens of people have been killed. Democrats calling for congressional hearings on the bombings. Even some Republicans wondering if they're legal.
The president is showing us every single day how little he cares about the law or the Constitution.
The idea that they're coming here is like, it's a huge assumption, and really shouldn't you have to present some proof?
Undeterred, President Trump saying he's also prepared to strike suspected drug traffickers on land if necessary.
We will hit them very hard when they come in by land, and they haven't experienced that yet, but now we're totally prepared to do that.
We'll probably go back to Congress and explain exactly what we're doing when we come to the land.
Meanwhile, today, President Trump posted on social media that a planned deployment of federal troops to San Francisco has been called off for now. The president said after speaking with the city's mayor and some of his friends, he's concluded that things are trending in the right direction and that federal troops are not needed. Yamiche Sendor, NBC News, Washington.
After 50 years, the medieval castle at Old Pro Golf's 28th Street has been torn down.
Fast dropping temps overnight, falling into the 40s and possibly the 30s, bracing for a little frost.
But first, one tick bite changed his life. Now it's his life mission to help others. Up next.
A West Ocean City man is turning a life-changing tick bite into a way to help and inform others. After years of unexplained reactions and allergies, he learned that he had been bitten by a tick local to the area here. In this week's Coastal Connections, Kevin Zappe shows us how he's now reaching out to others so that they know the symptoms and know how to get help.
That's a Lone Star tick. Do you know anything about alpha-gal syndrome?
6 years ago, Douglas Kifalo was bitten by this tick, a bite that will change his life forever.
I would wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning vomiting, swollen face, GI symptoms, cramps, diarrhea, end up with hives all over my body.
Kifalo was bitten in West Ocean City on his knee after mowing his lawn and spent years unknowingly suffering from the bite.
It went on and off for 5 years. I was in and out of ERs and doctors' offices trying to find out why.
The first clue that Kifalo might have a tick-related illness came when his son noticed a pattern, seeing his dad break out in hives after eating a burger.
He said, "Dad, my best friend has this thing called alpha-gal syndrome. He's got to carry an EpiPen around because he could go into anaphylactic shock from eating burgers."
Kifalo got tested that same day, and a week later, he was diagnosed with alpha-gal syndrome, or AGS. It's a condition caused by a Lone Star tick bite that triggers an allergic reaction to red meat and products containing alpha-gal, including dairy and even medications. For Douglas, it's permanent.
Once you're diagnosed and you react as badly as I do, you really have to watch everything you eat, drink.
Now, Kifalo has made it his mission to travel around the area and educate others, working with alphagalinformation.org to raise awareness about the potentially life-threatening disease.
We'll give you a lot of good information about alpha-gal syndrome.
We all love Doug so much because, for every 10,000 people that have this condition, like one is really doing something to make everything better for our community.
He's even created his own coasters and wooden nickels to hand out, all to spread the word.
Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
And he does it all for free.
They need to know about it. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm passionate about it. There are many of us out here suffering, and I want them to be educated as well as the general public.
Kifalo says he plans to craft and distribute hundreds of these wooden nickels to help spread the word. I'm Kevin Zappe in West Ocean City, Coast TV News.
Typically, today is what we actually usually feel the first frosty or frost day, statistically speaking, and we're going to get pretty close to making that mark for tomorrow morning. But in Laurel right now, we have clear skies. The winds have backed down a bit. That helps to give us an opportunity to form a little fog. We'll drop back to 50 degrees by 9 o'clock in Laurel. And Laurel is one of the places where I think the temperature is going to drop so rapidly we have to brace for a little bit of frost. Now, we do have the small craft advisory that's in effect for us over on the Cambridge side. So the western side of the Delmarva Peninsula still staying a little bit too breezy for any of the towns that are located right along the water to have that frosty feel in the air. But we do have it in southern portions of New Jersey, actually, and then over to our west where you see the darker color, that's actually where we have some freeze warning. So we have enough cold air in our general vicinity, and the temperatures are going to drop rather rapidly as well. So we could see some isolated patches of frost try to develop. We're at 61 degrees in Milton. Milford, we're at 61 degrees right now. Also in Seaford as well as Delmar at 62 degrees right now. Overnight lows, we initially, our first model run indicated it would fall to like 37, 38 degrees. The latest model run, just before we signed on, indicating the 40 degree mark even. I think it's probably going to drop again. But Tonight, you have one more shot at looking at the meteor shower, up to 20 meteors per hour. It's going to be up until starting at 1 o'clock and then until dawn. It's going to be very clear. Now, once again, statistically speaking, this is when we're supposed to have our first frost, on the 23rd. By the way, our first freeze typically is November the 10th. Very chilly for us in the morning time, and then we'll warm to about 59 degrees, places like Laurel, as well as Georgetown and in Millsboro. We'll get up to about 59 degrees in Cambridge as well, 61 in Vienna, just as a difference there. And we're looking for 58 for the high in Pocomoke City, 61 Chincoteague, and in Ocean City. Now for Friday along the coast, temperatures will hover around the 60-degree mark, a little below, a little above, depending on where you are, with winds out of the west staying pretty active, about 9 to 15 miles per hour. Friday morning, we're clear with temperatures in the low 40s as the sun comes up. We'll warm by about 20 degrees by then, and then we'll stay clear Saturday morning by mid-morning, 9 o'clock, when we're lining up for the Sea Witch Festival. And we're going to have temperatures in the 50s, actually low 50s for us in Rehoboth, and we'll only reach about near 60. By the way, speaking of Sea Witch, for Friday, 61, Saturday, or parade day, 59, winds out of the north, and then for Sunday, 57 degrees. And as you take a look at other locations along the beaches, we're going to go 59 straight across the board in Assateague. For Ocean City, we'll go from 59 down to 57 for Saturday and Sunday. And then in Lewes, we'll go from 62 to 60, and then 59 on Sunday. Finally, here's a look at your extended forecast.
And after 50 years, the medieval castle at Old Pro Golf's 28th Street location has been torn down. The course was built in 1973 and became a well-known attraction along Coastal Highway. The course says the medieval theme will stick around. Not sure what will go there, though. Old Pro Golf's indoor courses at 68th and 136th remain open year-round.
A truck crashed into Beshy Furniture on Lewes-Georgetown Highway today around 12:20 this afternoon. You can see the damage here to the truck, and that's according to the Georgetown Fire Company. Here you can see where it hit and the damage it caused to the building. We did reach out to the fire company and did not hear back yet.
Coming up tonight on the Delmarva Sports Network at 5:30, high school football pregame show Scoops and Scores. Then at 6 live Bayside Conference football, Y-High hosts Easton, and at 11 the final score. Over on DSN Plus, a couple exclusives tonight at 5 p.m. Bayside Conference Girls Volleyball. Queen Anne's takes on Kent Island. Pocomoke goes up against Snow Hill.
Coming up, a new online community safety portal is launched by the Rehoboth Beach Police Department. What you can do on the site, stay tuned on CoastTV News at 5.
Rehoboth Beach Police have introduced a new online tool designed to strengthen communication with people who both live and visit Rehoboth Beach. The department's new Frontline Community Policing Connect portal is live. You see it here. It offers several services that promote public safety. One of the things is Vacation Watch, so they can check on your property if you're gone. Also how to manage your bike and deal with it in case it gets stolen.
Oil prices rose sharply Thursday. The jump comes as traders worry about a squeeze on global supply after the U.S. imposed sanctions on 2 Russian oil companies. The sanctions are an effort to end the war in Ukraine. Treasury Secretary Scott Bennett called on Russian President Vladimir Putin to agree to an immediate ceasefire. Russia's foreign ministry criticized the fresh U.S. sanctions on Russia as entirely counterproductive.
A live look outside now into Dover. One more check on the forecast after this. Each Friday, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from Coast TV. It's full of fun features, cool things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up right now with this QR code or online, coasttv.com/signup.
In Dover right now, we're at 62 degrees, and we're expecting for the temperatures to settle by 10 degrees lower as early as 9 o'clock and then continue to plummet. Small craft advisory is active for us. We do have some concerns for frost advisories around our area, not just directly for us, but it could happen. Jeffrey Bird of Ocean View, you're our umbrella giveaway winner. Congratulations, courtesy of Paul Davis Restoration Home Remodeling. Keep up with your forecast by calling our weather line. Sponsored by the law offices of Bruckstedt, Mandalis, and Federico. The number to call is 443-880-9100. And here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. We are calling for big-time chill in the air.
So let me ask you, Paul, are we talking like scraper on the windshield in the morning? Or
Nah, I can't call that. I mean, we may have an isolated pocket here or there out on the countryside, but anywhere where there's buildings, nah.
Well, that's better than it could be, so we'll take a win where we can get it. Well, thank you, Paul, and hey, thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News at 5.
For more news, more local weather, download our Coast TV News app.
Inside Edition is up next.
And we'll see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 6. Have a great evening.